And welcome to the Life Mod Podcast with Dr. Gonzalez. This is the Life Mod Podcast, and I am Dr. Gonzalez. And I am joined today by one of our favorites, Life Mod members, our podcast guy, our friend, our confidant. You are an advisory board member.
I'm on the advisory board here at Life Mod.
Andrew Zarian.
How are you?
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
It's been such a long time.
I know the summer's been crazy, right?
We're in August now, right?
We're in August,
and we haven't actually seen each other for probably a month, I guess, right? Or is it longer?
Maybe a little longer.
Longer. You've been out traveling all over,
I've been traveling.
Right?
I was in California. I was in Texas, and then you went to New Mexico.
That's right.
And you came back, so we couldn't link up for about a month and a half, but now we're here.
Well, a lot of developments, because I know that when you were out in California, and I'd like for you to expand a little bit on what you're doing over there, because I know that your GFQ network is getting huge. Right? I mean, it's getting there. This is big.
Growing.
And so you're doing some stuff out in California, and then you came back. Well, actually, when you were there, you tweeted that you were fighting with...
Yeah, so I went to Bas Rutten's Elite MMA gym.
Okay.
And every time I'm in LA, I go out there and I train with the guys over there. Randy Katami, one of the owners there, one of the main
big
trainers.
Guys, right?
Yeah, I mean Randy's a world-renowned, kickboxer and trainer. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. So I train with him every time when I'm out there. And I tweeted the photo because I thought, it looked great, and this is what Life Mod did for me. So
well, you've lost I think you said 40 pounds within like a year, but I mean, it's not even. You weren't really overweight, which is why this is perfect, because you weren't really when we did your InBody a while ago. And by the way, Andrew is anal about the InBody.
Yes. Today I'm not going on it,
and he's not going on it today because he had some food. But you've really never were overweight. You just wanted to lose some fat.
I was always a really thin kid.
Yeah. And
luckily for me, I had a high metabolism, but I was always into sports. I played basketball, I played football, I played baseball. So I was always burning off whatever I was eating, but I was always a thin kid. And as you get older, your metabolism slows down a little bit. Obviously, I wasn't as athletic as I used to be. I wasn't playing basketball and football and baseball throughout 1 week. So things kind of slowed down for me. And I went up to about 198 pounds.
Wow.
I'm not that tall. I'm almost 5'10".
Yeah.
So to kind of put into perspective, 198, but I carried it well.
Yo, you did.
So
yeah.
When people look at me, they're like, "Oh, you don't need to really lose weight." It just looked like I was bloated.
Right.
Maybe I drank too much the night before, or maybe I ate too much the night before. But in comparison now, if you look at a side by side, you say, "Wow, you were heavy."
Right.
You were much.
Well, and it's
heavier.
funny because we do have a side by side, and we have it on our. We took a picture when you first joined Life Mod, obviously. So, and you compare that to the way you look now, completely different. You're also very you're cut now. You've gained a lot of muscle.
Yeah, so I'm at about anywhere from 158 pounds to 165, depending on
that's
the
amazing.
day and the time. But I like being at 162 pounds. That's the weight that I kind of feel confident at.
Right.
I think anything less, it's due to me not following a Life Mod system as well as I should, and maybe I took a day where I kind of didn't eat as much. I just letting go of the water that your body retains just to kind of see where you're at.
Right.
But at 162 pounds, I've been comfortable at that for the last year.
Right.
You're consistently keeping that weight.
You have, and and you also, again, it's really one of the beautiful things about this is that it's not really what you look like, but I know that on the Twitter page that you send out, you actually are, boxing, and you look like you've just really cut.
Yeah, I cut.
A lot of muscle.
That's what my goal was.
Yeah,
with joining Life Mod, it wasn't. I could have maintained the weight, right? I could have lost the weight without Life Mod, but I don't think I would have been able to commit to this for this long,
right,
outside of Life Mod, because Life Mod does encourage you. With the InBody machine, for example, that is a tremendous encouragement for me. For people who don't know what it is, it pretty much tells you everything that's happening in your body at that moment. Your water retention, your muscle factor, the fat around your arteries. I mean, it's able to measure these things.
It's amazing.
And it's really scary the first time when you go on it, when you think, the first time I went on it, I had already lost the weight. And I thought I was in good shape. And I went on it and I saw that my body fat percentage was like 26%.
Which is actually not that bad.
It's not that bad, but I was surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
I was really surprised by that. And now I think the last time I went on it, which was about a month and a half ago, I was down to almost 15%. So it was like 14.8, whatever it was. So I dropped over 10% body fat in, a short amount of time with just realizing what I'm doing with myself.
And don't you agree that actually, for example, the InBody, getting on the InBody, one of the biggest motivators, one of the biggest assets we have at LifeMod is that little machine. And there's a lot of them, but we use InBody because I really like it. But press for them. But the InBody, if you get on it and you don't know what's wrong, it's not you're not going to be that motivated.
Yeah.
This is amazing that we have.
Yeah,
that.
and it's been motivation because there have been moments that I've walked in here and I'm like, I feel great. I've worked out. I worked my ass off for 2 weeks and I starved myself for 2 weeks thinking I'm doing the right thing. And I come on here and I go on the InBody and my body fat percentage has actually gone up.
Yeah.
And my muscle.
I remember those days.
My muscle has dropped.
Right.
Because I'm going into starvation mode. So my body it's freaking out. So it's retaining more fat than it should. And I'm losing muscle because I'm not getting enough protein to my muscles, and I'm not just following the way that I should be living.
Right.
Since understanding and doing the InBody on a regular basis for the last year, I'm eating way more than I was last year.
Right.
I'm aware.
Eating, yeah.
I'm eating. I'm not ordering Chinese food every night and eating Chinese food. I'm not ordering pizza every night, but I will order Chinese food and I will order pizza. And because I'm keeping it in my system and haven't totally 100% eliminated it, the impact the following day,
it's phenomenal.
It's not there.
Yeah.
I'm not gaining 4 or 5 pounds by just having one meal.
Right.
I'm able to maintain the weight because my body's actually saying, okay, I could deal with this. I can handle this.
Well, and it's the information, right? Because when you got the InBody and you see it, we've now given you information that is useful for you, right? I mean, the information now is you can see it. It's black and white. This is how much I weigh. This is my body fat percentage. This is how much fat I have around my heart. And it's shocking. But if we hadn't handed you that information, it's harder to convince somebody that they need to change anything because they don't see it.
They don't see it, yeah.
And so with you, and the other thing about the machine that we have that's really cool is that every single time he comes here, we give him a printout. And,
it's like a progress report.
Exactly.
I carry it in my bag.
I know.
I have every single test that I've done as a reminder to myself that every time I come here, I have to, maintain what I have.
Right.
Or I have to do better than what it's become competitive for me. The InBody machine has kind of become.
I love it.
It's like my app.
Right.
People have running apps on their phone. The InBody machine is my running app.
Right.
I want to prove to myself that I'm able to maintain what I'm doing. Plus, I did the blood report. I did the blood test, very thorough blood test that you guys do,
Yep.
and that was actually amazing to see.
Right.
Things that my body needs and doesn't need.
Well, that's a great segue because obviously we have the InBody, and that's only one of the amazing things we have at LifeMod. But let's talk about your blood type. your blood test, and including your blood type.
I'm B negative.
You're B negative.
Yeah.
B negative, really?
B negative.
Don't be negative.
Yeah, I'm very negative.
Anyway, but your blood tests, one of the things that you were a little low on, and you don't mind us talking about this,
go right ahead.
Was your vitamin D.
Yes, very low. Yeah.
Okay, 90% of the population on Earth and Americans are low in vitamin D.
And the shocking part was that I'm tan.
I know.
I tan a lot.
I know. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm always tan year round. So the fact that I was deficient in vitamin D was, out of all the things in that test, that was like really.
Yeah,
that was the
I remember
shocker
you
for
telling
me.
it. Yep, and it's never a shocker for me anymore because everyone consistently is vitamin D deficient. Occasionally we get somebody who's been taking crazy amounts and are not.
So, for the layman out there, as someone that is as tan as I am, I walk around. I also go tanning, which is not healthy. I don't recommend anybody do it, but I do it
Right.
For vanity reasons. But why am I so low in vitamin D if I'm so exposed to the sun?
Well, that's a really good question. Vitamin D deficiency has come about because if you look at our culture and the way it was a long time ago, our human design is that we obviously were outside. We were constantly outside. And so we even though you think that walking around a lot every day is enough, it's actually not what we are supposed to be getting. We're meant to be outside not really 24/7, but from morning to evening,
8-9 hours, yeah,
working on the field, bringing down the animal, harvesting that crop. So there's no way we can get to that amount of sun. 1, 2. In the 1950s, if you remember, I mean, obviously you and I were both not alive in that time, but there was a huge campaign in the 50s and 60s. Skin cancer awareness was huge.
Get out of the sun.
Get out of the sun. Wear the SPF. So I think it really shocked American culture and scared them and said we can't. I mean, we got to wear hats. We can't go out in the sun anymore. And so that compiled with our food. Our food is another big thing. No one is eating properly anymore, and so if you're not eating properly, your you're not making vitamin D as much because of the sun. And we need the sun to convert to vitamin D, and so the sun is very, very important. But that's why you're not getting it just by tanning, or just by being outside.
Yeah. It's not enough. It's just temporarily.
It's just not enough. So let's talk about the consequences of vitamin D. I know today you got a prescription.
I did.
For a very heavy dose of vitamin D. That was 50,000 international units per pill. And that's when I give that to people who are really deficient in vitamin D. Here's the thing with vitamin D that you're going to love. Vitamin D is so essential for so many processes that we can talk for 2 hours on a podcast. From your eyesight to your fat metabolism, to your muscle building, to your testosterone production, to your chance of cancers, all points cancers, to everything, premature aging, free radical development. Yeah. So now that we've just given you 50,000 international units of vitamin D, you're gonna take it tomorrow. Once you fill it, you're going to notice a huge difference. And the majority of people who join LifeMod, a week or two later, they're like, "Oh my God, LifeMod's amazing! I feel so much better." And it's really had nothing to do with LifeMod. It was the vitamin D. I mean, obviously, we check vitamin D, and that's a huge thing. But we put everybody on vitamin D, and the studies on it are pretty amazing. That look, if you're deficient in vitamin D, your chances of getting cancers and cardiovascular disease and all this are much higher than if you were normal vitamin D.
Interesting.
And so replacing vitamin D just makes sense that we want to do that, obviously. I can't wait to bring you back because then you're going to let us know how you felt.
Yeah.
What other thing did you get today that we just gave you a little while ago?
B12. I got a B12 shot.
B12 injection. Yours was a little low. And vitamin B12 is also one of those vitamins that is very, is very essential for normal processes. And, you had said that you were getting a little bit sort of fatigued recently. You've been working a lot. You've been traveling out to the West Coast. These things are normal, but, your vitamin B12 shot today, I can't wait to see do you feel any difference right now?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
it's been a couple of hours.
It's been a couple hours, so I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm not crashing. Normally at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're recording this at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
Is when I start, crashing and I need a cup of coffee. I have yet to have coffee today.
You haven't?
I have not.
All day today. Okay.
All day, and that's really rare for me.
Yeah.
For me not to have coffee.
So again, vitamin B12, we don't give it to people if they don't need it, but if they are low in it, it's a huge difference. Yeah. So look, I know we can talk about this forever, but I think we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah. Thank you for coming to visit us at LifeMod again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I can't. We have to do this more often. I mean, we're getting some comments that this is a good pair, so we have to kind of bring you in as a guest more
Absolutely.
often.
Next couple of weeks. I know that next week, the following week, we're going to be off.
Yep.
But when we come back, we'll do another show and we can talk about what it was like for me to go on vitamin D.
Exactly, and your vitamin B12
and the B12 to see the results and to
Fantastic.
Kind of do like a fair comparison of what it was like.
Love it. Thank you so much, Victim Vestra Vita, www.lifemod.com. Look us up and make sure you email or Twitter. Or tweet us, I should say, some questions. So
and
we
they can tweet
use
me
them
if they want to tweet me. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any questions about what it's been like for me, at Andrew Zarian on Twitter.
At Andrew Zarian. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.